Let's begin there.
John
What
looks like
does
he's had better days.
Trump's energy policies mean for us going forward?
So, if you're new to the channel, I'm an investment advisor or IAR. If you have any questions, you can always join me on Twitch. I try to do this live, and I'm going to start doing it on TikTok as well and combine the chats just so you can have more people talking. But if you are serious about learning about investments, financial education, um, estate planning, everything finance. Yeah, I'm definitely here to answer all your questions. But let's see what's going on with oil.
It means global growth. It means that the United States will be a leader in oil production. I believe right now we're producing over 13 million barrels a day. A couple of days ago, I interviewed the province province person of Alberta and Smith. She says right now they're producing 5.3 million barrels a day.
So, besides the U.S., Canada also produces a lot of oil, right? So it's not just OPEC and the U.S. Another thing to consider is that there's probably going to be more talks of pipelines, which would definitely help production and distribution. There's probably going to be lands that are going to be leased and opened with this new administration. And what else? Oh yeah, the Ukraine-Russia war. If that ends, you have the potential sanctions lifting and the distribution of Russian oil being able to enter the market more freely. Not that it's not being distributed right now. Even India is buying it up. But it will definitely help less. What do I want to say? It would help the supply side overall, right? Without making the issue too complex.
They could eventually double that. And with Alaska, don't forget, Alaska, we can go tremendously. We have a 900,000 a barrel a day pipeline that we're not using. We're using very little of it. The United States of America under President Biden was the prisoner. We're going to become self-sufficient. With Canada, we're going to be the #1 producer in the world. And I looked at optimism. Now, I'll give you another one that nobody talks about. When we opened up the Suez Canal, that President Biden has kept closed. The Suez Canal, where the Chinese are partners with Iran. The Chinese ships go by, no damage.
So you could probably classify me as a Republican, but listen, Fox Business News is funny. I like it just has an agenda behind it, and as opposed to CNBC that just focuses on the numbers and what's going on in your wallet. It just cracks me up sometimes.
Everybody else is a prisoner. When President Trump opens up on January 20th, after 2 o'clock, opens up the Suez Canal and the Red Sea, that should cause oil to go down another $10 a barrel. So I think the optimum number is probably $55 a barrel.
I wouldn't count on that.
You'll have $2 a gallon gasoline again. Inflation will go down.
Oh, okay. Listen, man, is much as I like Trump, the election's over. He doesn't have to be a cheerleader anymore. It's now you might listen. $2 a barrel after the inflationary pressures that we just saw is that would be amazing. But a lot of things would have to happen in order for that to occur first. It could happen, but it would take some years.
And guess what? The Fed the Fed has to lower interest rates because it's going to destroy the regional banks. It's going to destroy the real estate industry. I mean, it's very simple to say. If the real estate industry is in turmoil, we got to fix it. And the only way to fix it is to lower the interest rates. And we're not going to have inflation.
Okay, so just to be clear, a lot of Trump's policies are very much pro-inflation, but they're also pro-growth. So if you look at our debt, you're going to have to, it's economics 101, right? What are your opportunity costs, right? What's the trade? What's the trade? So looking at our debt being the kind of biggest threat that we have as a nation, you're going to have to grow your way out of it, and that's just something that has to be done. But as far as what he said about housing, I'll do a separate video on housing, because it needs to be talked about. I don't think you need rates to lower for housing, but at the same time, I don't see that happening in that maybe 50 basis points, but I don't really see that happening to the degree where you're going to see enough people re-entering the housing market for the builders to increase production. In fact, I see housing getting more expensive.
We're going to have deflation because the price of gasoline is going to go down. The price of diesel fuel is going to go down, causing the price of food to go down. And then the price of food goes down. The price of gasoline goes down. Inflation goes away. We have deflation. So we better.
And the likelihood, the only scenario deflation happens. So I have a business. I'm not going to lower my prices, right? They are where they are now. I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, it's time to lower. It just doesn't happen. Once they're there, they're the only scenario where you have, and there's more scenarios than this, but if you would have major deflation, is that you see something. I'll give you an example. You see something like you saw in 2008, right? 2008, you had major deflation. Which it was good for the little guy. The little guy didn't feel the stuff going on or for poor people, they didn't feel stuff that was going on in their pension fund or their their investments. They just saw prices go down.
Lower the interest rates. If I don't believe Mr. Powell knows what he's doing. That's my personal opinion. But if I put my money on President Trump versus Powell.
Very good. John, very quickly, do we have time?
And I apologize for picking this video. The anchor should have asked some tougher questions, and as much as Trump wants, he doesn't have power over the Federal Reserve, so.
We may be out of time. I wanted to ask you about the psyche of the consumer. You're very in tune with that. I got 30 seconds, John. With the new administration coming in, is there an air of optimism?
The air of optimism is President Trump is bringing back our country. They're going to have the Europeans, the Asians have confidence in President Trump keeping the free world free, and that is very. That's what's going to happen. He's the only one that's capable of doing it. The next step is how do we bring the 6 or 7 cities that are prisoners of Chicago, San Francisco? How do we fix those 6 inner city cities? Because enough is enough. You can't have what's going on in those cities. We got to bring those cities back to complete the cycle.
John Katzman.
Okay, so nothing on OPEC, nothing on the pipelines, nothing on the Ukraine war, nothing to kind of answer your question is as far as any indicators if oil is going to just go down. It's just opinion news, unfortunately, but that's what you get with Fox Business.